Hello again, everyone. John here over in Educational Technology. And if you've been watching these Jamboard tutorials, just want to let you know that this one's going to be kind of similar to the last one, except that I'm showing you the iOS version of Jamboard. In other words, I installed this on my iPad just to show you guys kind of some differences here. And the reason I'm doing that is because if you guys are already familiar with it, using it in like Chrome or Firefox, you'll realize that there's a couple things that are already a little different here. Even though the functionality is the same, there are a couple things that are going to feel and look a little different, and the reason I'm showing you this is not only to outline that, but also to show you that in some ways, ironically, it's actually a lot better on an iPad. Any touch device is going to be better than a non-touch device in this case because of the drawing tools, but we just want to kind of outline that for you. So in this case, what I've done is I have an image with some sample text. So if I were teaching a language arts lesson, maybe I would use something like this to have students annotate on that back to me. So a couple things in the iPad app that you want to be aware of. Number one, over here under the Tools app, you've got the same tools. Notice that we've got the pen, the marker, the highlighter, and the paintbrush there. We have the same small palette of colors here, but you have this new thing that says Assistive Drawing Tools. Now let's just back up one step and take a look at our toolbar here. What's missing here is the text box, and we're also missing the shape tool. And that's on purpose because under that drawing tools, we have assistive drawing tools, which we now have text, so we can add text right here. And then you also have the assistive shape tool, and then you finally have the drawing tool, which I'm not going to cover too much on that one today. But because this is the touch device, they want to help you make it look pretty, I guess you could say. So say I wanted some text over here on the right to give some instructions. So I could just select that tool. Over here on the right, I'm going to actually just write out my instructions. And then it's going to take that, and again, it's going to make it pretty. You could type it up, not a problem with that at all. Again, this is because you're on a touch device. They're just trying to give you some more tools that make it that much more useful. Next thing is, because I took this off the internet, you guys notice over here on the right, I'll use my highlighter tool to show you this. I've got this section that I don't want. I don't want students to see that. So I want to cover it up so that they're just looking at what I type for instructions and the actual sample text. So to do that, a simple way, and this goes across lots of apps, is I'm going to go into my shapes. So in this case on the iPad, that would be under Assistive Drawing Tools. I'm going to choose my shapes here, and I'm going to make it white so that when I draw a box around that, it's just going to make a white box. And I'm going to make that a little bigger just so that they can't see it. And voila, technically I made it disappear, at least in student size. So again, you've got the same tools up at the top. I could choose my marker, I could choose the color, and I could draw on my Jamboard. You could choose your highlighter, and you can also choose the paintbrush. Now, like we talked about before, the highlighter is really meant for these kind of applications. So if I click off that and I want to illustrate nouns, so then I can go in and I'm going to say highlight all the nouns. This is what the highlighter is for. Notice again how we talked about in the last time, it is transparent, at least partially. So that's where that comes into play there. Now, one other difference over here is the next one down, the eraser tool. The eraser tool allows you to erase just like this, like we talked about before, or if you tap it a second time, you'll get the option to clear the entire frame. So that would get rid of literally anything and everything you've put into your Jamboard. In this case, my background did not go away because I set that up as a background, not just a picture. But overall, that's really the biggest differences between the iOS and the computer app. Again, you're going to have the same options. They're just going to look a little bit different. The biggest advantage on a touch device or an iPad with a pencil in this case is the ability to literally write and annotate as we normally would. So I might want to, circle important things for my students to notice. But as soon as the old clock, we're talking about description here, and then maybe we talk about highlighters, and so on and so forth. So this is where annotation really becomes valuable on the iPad. So anyway, I hope that helped everybody just to get a little better idea of not only the tools, but also how those tools look like on the iPad. And until next time, remember, you cannot be an analog teacher in a digital world. We'll see you soon.